Hi, my name is Anique Olivier Mason, and I am the Director of Education, Outreach, and Diversity of the Brandeis MRSEC. So I'm here to talk about the REU program in 2016, and I'm new to doing, I'm new to doing this this type of chat, so I apologize if there's any strange features that I'm messing up. So bear with me as I get things going. So I'm just checking out. I don't think that anyone has joined us yet. So there's a chat window that's open that I can listen to your feedback if you have anything that you want to say. And also, I'll have my phone here that's receiving emails. So if you want to get in touch with me about, oh, I see. Okay, so actually somebody has. So let's handle this. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I just invited somebody. Okay, so when you come to the screen, then please, if you start tuning in, simply maybe type in the chat. So. Okay. So maybe I'll just. We're going over this. So, okay. So you can't see this because it's backwards, but my name is Anique Olivier Mason, and I'm the Director of Education, Outreach, and Diversity for the Brandeis MRSEC. And I'm going to talk about the REU program. So first, I'm going to discuss the application process. It's an online application that I've printed out, and I'm going to walk through the questions with you right now. So I suggest you print out this application because there's a lot of questions that you'll need to take time to prepare. And also, Deidre Gibson at Hampton has generously volunteered to help each of you with your application process. So take advantage of her help. Okay, so the blurb that's at the beginning of the online application that I just happened to have printed out talks about how you'll need to write 2 essays for this application. And the questions are, number 1, please describe your previous research experience. Be sure to include institution name, lab/PI name, and dates for each experience. And then 2, what are your personal goals for participating in the REU program? In addition to those essays and completion of this online form, you will also need to have an unofficial digital transcript and letters of recommendation from 2 different faculty. If for whatever reason you can't complete this online application, then there is a way that you can submit all the materials to summerresearch@brandeis.edu. And this application is due November 15th. So the first question talks about how you've learned about the application. So check off Hampton. Goes on to ask you other questions because these are requirements for our funding. You need to be either a US citizen or a permanent resident. And then the other requirement is that you're enrolled and in good standing at an accredited 4-year institution. So unfortunately, that means that graduating seniors are ineligible. The next questions have to do with your personal information, name, address, and such. Next is your gender, and if you're a member of an underrepresented group in science. Then, and I want to push you if you fit any of these categories to mark off the check so that we can know. Next asks about your campus information, what school you go to. And then what level student you are, rising sophomore, rising junior, or rising senior, and your GPA. If you have previous research experience. It's okay if you don't. We would just want to know if you have had anything. And then asks you to describe it. So be sure here to include volunteer experiences that you've had and any extensive extra laboratory courses that you've taken, that should go here too. But don't include those things if you've done a independent research project. That kind of trumps the other categories. Next, what are your personal goals for participating in the REU? This only you can answer, so yeah. Okay, continue, ask you to check off what your different interests are. These can help us place you in a particular lab once we know what kind of interests you have. And then letters of recommendation. I urge you to choose people who really know you. They should not be family or people who don't know you that well. They should probably be faculty or a boss at a job. Someone who's supervised you directly is usually the best choice. And yeah, and then that's the application there. So I still don't have any viewers, so I'm just going to take a pause right here and check in to see if anybody has any questions that I'm not reaching for some reason. I'm not. God, I just saw that the camera was frozen on me in this one view, and it's oh, and now I have a viewer. Hi viewer. Could you enter your information into the chat box and ask any questions that you have? I just went over the application, but I'm happy to do it again. So it's just, I'm seeing it as just you and me here, so go ahead. I can either continue talking about the application and about the requirements, or I can now start talking about the program too. So your feedback can help direct what kind of questions I answer. Okay, I'm not hearing from you, so that's fine. So let me just talk to you a little bit about the program. So the program is a 10-week summer research experience, but something that's going to be new this year is that we've partnered with Hampton. Brandeis University has partnered with Hampton through the PREM, the newly awarded PREM award from the NSF. And so in addition to the summer research experience, we're also going to have monthly chats with the cohort. So the cohort will be selected early, and then we're really actually hoping to select before spring semester, so that starting in the spring semester, I would meet via Skype like this, Google Hangouts, with the cohort of individuals who would be coming in the summer, and we would start some of the steps that are incredibly helpful for success over the summer. Yeah, again, I noticed that there's a viewer who just joined up, who just signed off. Okay, if you are signing in, please type into the chat box that you are here, and feel free to ask any questions that you have. I am just going to continue talking about the program. But if you have a specific question, I can be interrupted and can go in that direction. So I'm also happy to, I just went through the application, but I can do it again if you want. Okay. So the program, even though it's officially a summer program, it will also include the spring semester meetings, and that will be really helpful for you guys to get to know me, and I'm going to bring in graduate students and postdocs to start talking about the science, so that by the time the research experience, the REU, begins at Brandeis in the summer of 2016, you're already, already on the same page about what we do here, what's the type of science that we do, what kind of questions are we addressing, what techniques we use, and so you'll just be able to launch a lot faster into your research, your independent research question, than people have in the past. If you are having any trouble connecting, you can also feel free to call my landline, and I'm going to put the phone number on the chat box. So it's 781-736-2838. 2838. Oh, okay. I think, so hi Danielle, I just got your email. So I think you need to hover your mouse over onto the left of the screen, and there's like a little blue box, and you can click on that and it says chat. And if you click on that, a screen will come up on your right. So why don't you give that a shot? And it's just you and me. So I'll wait for you to do that. Or you can send me an email, because I'm getting your emails too. Hi, someone else just joined us. That's great. So just to introduce again, are they gone? So my name's Anique Olivier Mason. I'm the Director of Education and Outreach, and I'm trying to answer your questions about the application process for the REU program this summer, and also to talk about the program itself. I'm happy to do anything that you guys want. when nobody was here, I walked through the application. I printed it. It's an online application, but I printed it and can answer any specific questions you might have. I can also continue talking about the program. So to give me questions, to send me questions, you can simply click on the blue box or send me an email, because I'm getting your emails. So if you send me an email, then I can also answer questions that way. Okay, so, or call. Okay, so to continue on the summer program, it really starts in the summer, but then we also have our 10-week, we have the cohort will be chosen in the spring, and we'll meet regularly throughout the spring. So it's actually a little bit longer than 10 weeks. The program is a paid experience. The stipend is $5,000, but you also get money for food, you get free housing, and travel reimbursement, which is pretty great. And then in addition to that, there is funding for various other types of activities. So what I like the best about this program is that it's a small cohort of people, and I meet weekly with that group, and it includes Brandeis students. So in the 2015 summer, I had 15 students who I met with weekly, and each of those students were in their own labs doing their own independent research projects, but we'd all come together on Mondays at lunch and talk about a variety of different topics, everything from how to make a poster, how to write an abstract, how to prepare a CV for jobs in grad school, talk about the grad school application process, you know, a variety of different types of topics. Like I lay it out with a kind of like a schedule at the beginning. Okay, someone else just emailed me, so I'm sorry. Okay, so someone just wants to know, can they still join? Absolutely. And for people who want to communicate with me, no one has done it yet, but I believe you can take your mouse, hover over the left side of your screens where there's a blue icon that will suddenly appear, and it will say chat. And if you click on that, a white screen, kind of like a typical like text box, will show up on your right. So of course, if you don't see these things, please email me so I know, and I will stop telling people to do that. Okay. Yeah, a lot of times people have questions about the research and how I choose the labs and how that works. So I can tell you a lot about that. The MRSEC, what's really nice is that our MRSEC, it's called Materials Research Science Engineering Center. And so as a center, we have professors who do research in a lot of different disciplines at Brandeis who come together to work on projects with related goals. And so I've got professors who run biology, I've got biochemistry professors, physics professors, chemistry professors. And so while you might be saying, oh, I am a biology major and I have done a lot of PCR before, but I've never done any, I don't know, I've never done anything with microfluidics or something. That's like, even if, or maybe you've never done PCR, or maybe you have done this and you haven't done that, you've done a lot of one technique or another. All of that is okay because you get trained while you're here, and you don't need to come to Brandeis knowing how to do. You just need to have a willingness to learn and a good attitude, and that's kind of what we expect from our REU students. yeah, because there's a lot of like while you're here, you get trained. At the end of the summer, there is a requirement to complete the complete a poster in which you present your research to the whole science community. It's an amazing experience. Something like 90 undergraduates presented a poster this 2015 summer, and it's called SCI Fest. And it's like a really great feeling for our undergraduates because their posters represent all this work that they've put into it all summer long, and they're gorgeous works of art, really. And they get to stand talking about it to grad students, postdocs, faculty, who are all just supportive and encouraging of their work. And there's food, and so people come just for the food, but then they end up talking to the scientists. And recently there was a video that was made about the event, and you can see just like how packed it is, and it feels like, it just like feels like such a great community event. And I feel great about so it's a requirement. So I feel great about requiring the REU students in the MRSEC to do their poster, because everyone ends up feeling just like a great sense of satisfaction about their project and completing it. Although it is a lot of work to put together that poster. Okay, if you just joined us or are unsure, you can email me your questions, or you can write them into the chat box, which should be, like for me, I'm like pointing at my chat box. And no one has written in a question. Could someone just like type something there, so at least I know that you exist, that I'm not just like talking at the air. Whoever does it first will get a prize. So please enter in, you can start typing your questions into that box. For me, it's right there where I'm pointing. You can see it by hovering over on the left where it says chat and clicking that, and then typing your message. Yeah, you can always email me, or you could also call me. I am still getting my emails and stuff, so that would work too. And also, if someone could let me know if they're not getting the information, like if something's just not working, that's really helpful feedback too. So I'm just going to make sure that because I'm not sure that you guys are. Okay, I haven't gotten any emails, I was just double checking from you guys. So I see that there's 2 viewers, or 1. So I'm happy to address any questions that you have at all about the application process. I can give you insider tips, anything that you might want to know. Some of the questions that people have already asked are, if you are eligible if you're a graduating senior. Unfortunately, no. You have to be enrolled in a 4-year institution. So if you've graduated, then you're no longer a student anymore and you are ineligible. Yep, so let me think about any other questions. Some other things that you do while you're part of the REU program, we did last year, we had different social events. We did kayaking on the Charles River, because Brandeis University, you might not know, but it is another university on the Charles, like MIT and Harvard. We're a little bit further down from them, but so we did a kayaking event that was spectacular. It was so much fun. Had like ice cream social. We did a lot of meals together, and yeah, it was a lot of that's fun. Just like we try to have a lot of fun because we want this to be a full experience with the research, but also for you guys to get to know each other while you're here on campus, and for you to get to know Brandeis. So that's like a huge part of it. Okay, I'm seeing again that there's 2 viewers. If you could just say hi, even in the chat box, so that I know that you're there, that would be great. Please, 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 please. Yeah. I'm not quite sure what other types of questions that you might have. I think if people aren't starting to ask questions, I might have to stop because I don't know. Okay, someone just, all right, there is a question. Thank you. Do we need any previous research experience to participate in this program? No, you don't. Nope. So you're gonna learn, if you come and do this REU program, you learn it here while you're at Brandeis. Of course, previous research experience is great, but one of the reasons why it's great is because kind of like there's a paradigm shift that happens when people do an REU program. The paradigm is if you've had a job that you're used to being a good worker, and being a good employee is different than being a good research scientist. A good employee usually is, okay, I come to my job every day at the same time and I stay the same number of hours and I do what is asked of me. Well, we ask that our REU students step it up, and to be a successful REU student does not depend upon if you've done research in the past, but it kind of like helps you in this way, which is that it helps you get on have the mentality of thinking about a project and taking ownership of the project, so that you are thinking about what's right for the research and you're not waiting for someone to tell you what to do. Now, of course, initially you need someone to tell you what to do, but the goal by the end of the summer is for you to start thinking on your own about what the steps should be and what's appropriate, and also to take advantage of a lot of help. So to be a good researcher, you need to be able to ask for help. But all of this, I can't say it enough, is supported through me, through your mentor who's assigned to you, a graduate student or a postdoc who is going to work with you, usually even like stand next to you, like you're going to have a spot next to them in the lab. So you're ready. You start to get ready for this experience. It's not just like you're thrown into the lion's den without any support or help. It's definitely supported. So no, you do not need to have previous research experience, but it helps, and it helps not necessarily because you already know the techniques, because you might be picking up different techniques. It just helps, I think, get people on to start to have an idea of what life in the lab is like, what the culture is like, and so you start to have the same expectations with your mentor, with me, with the professor who's called the principal investigator, the PI. So everyone's on kind of like the same page. But you can also pick up those skills and that culture and that work ethic from classes, and a lot of other things are translatable. Like, let's say you have had a job. Like, I've had a job since I was 15 years old, like even before that babysitting, so even earlier. And the things that made me a successful scooping ice cream and waitressing making sandwiches, all those skills that made me successful there, I translated to hard work and attentiveness as a scientist. So that's kind of like what we're looking for in an application and for a successful REU experience. Okay, I see that there's one viewer still. Maybe you have a question that I have not answered. So don't wait for me to think of it. Please type it into the chat box or send it to me as an email. That's another option. I'm not sure if there's other types of questions. One thing that's great about the REU program is that, you know, you're with a small group of people for kind of a, you know, it's not a long time, but it's longer than a little bit of time. And so you get to know them and you also get to know me. And so like one option is that, like, you know, I become another person who can write letters of recommendation or can support you in the future, which is just nice to know that you have another person who can act as an advocate. Okay, so again, I see that there's one viewer and I'm not sure if you have any specific questions or not, my single viewer or not, but I'm going to be turning off the chat pretty soon because I haven't gotten any questions and I've just been talking and talking and I'm not sure if I'm answering anything that is interesting to you. So send me an email. Okay. Oh, I see. The way that you get that chat box is you hover over with your mouse, hover over on the left side of the screen where the blue box is. Like suddenly, there's no blue box normally, but if you pick up your mouse and put it on my face and then put it where my hand is, right there. If you click right there, then there's a blue box. And if you click on that, you should be able to type. That's my understanding. That's what I can do. Can you do that? So Susan's saying there is no chat box. So Susan, Brendan, you guys just send it in email to me because I'm getting your emails. Yeah, so send it if you have a question, you're not seeing the chat box, which is weird for, I don't know, I must have set the settings incorrectly or something. So, so yeah, continue to communicate by email. That's great. I'm not sure if there's other things that I can help you answer. Susan, the essays, okay, so we just have a question here from Susan. She asks, how long do the essays have to be? You know what? They only need to be as long as it takes to answer the question. So please don't do any filler. And there's no length requirement at all. So how long do the essays have to be? As long as it takes to answer the question. If you have a lot of experience, write about it. This is what I'm going to use to sort through the applications. So if you, like, you know, okay, so the first question on the application, it is, please describe your previous research experience. If you have research experience, this is easy, right? Like you just write about the time you worked in that person's lab. Let's say you don't have research experience. Okay, so that becomes a little bit different. I want to hear about the classes. I'd like to hear about, you know, what types of things have gotten you into science? So why are you doing this REU program? Like, have you enjoyed a particular science class, a technique, a topic, something you read? Why, why are you submitting this application? So if you feel like, you have nothing to say about describe your previous research experience because you have not had a volunteer or paid research experience already, that is fine. But I need you to think about, well, then why are you doing this REU program? Because the second question is, what are your personal goals for participating in the REU program? And so this is what you hope to get out of it. I want to hear your answers to the question. I want to hear things about, you want to become a professor. You want to do research someday. Maybe you want to go to medical school. Maybe you want to, maybe you're not sure. Maybe your goals are a lot more short-term. And actually, I think that is great, by the way. So hearing about goals such as, I'm not sure if I want to study science, and so I want to do this experience so I can learn. So I'm curious, but I'm not sure if it's for me. That's okay. Talking about how your personal goals, you want to improve your analytical skills. You want to improve your oral communication skills. That's great. Actually, that would be a fantastic answer. Like, dive in, So providing short-term goals is, sometimes I feel like that's appropriate, especially if you're more, if you're a younger applicant. I think those would be really honest, authentic answers that I'd love to hear is the short term. And I'm not as impressed by somebody who is a freshman in college and they already know that they want to be a professor, but they've never even done any research. To me, I think, well, what are they basing that off of? What do they know? So sometimes it's sometimes better to state really, really high quality short-term goals. Okay. How soon do you find out if I will be able to participate in the program? So the application deadline is November 15th, so it's coming up. We are going to have a cohort chosen before spring semester. So Brendan, yeah, basically it's going to be a very, very short review. So before you start up, so January, you would know, which is early, and I did this intentionally so that people who did not get into the program would still be able to apply to, any number of the other REU programs that exist nationally, so that I'm not, for whatever reason, holding you guys up. But if you did commit, if I did select you, then, I would expect that you stay within my program. Okay. Any other questions? Is it good? I'm glad that you guys are writing to me now. Okay. Do you guys have any other types of questions? So I've got my email open so I can check it too. So I think I'm going to wrap up this session at 3:45. So just a few more minutes. But I'm really happy to answer questions, go longer if you have the questions. I just am not seeing the need to if you don't have the questions. So something else that people ask is, do they choose the lab or do I? So I choose your lab. However, that said, you can definitely plant names of people who you think you would really, really love to do research with. So naming some of the faculty who, and I would only put you in a lab that is within my center. So there's a lot of labs at Brandeis, and I would only match you with a lab at Brandeis. So how are the research facilities at Brandeis? So new question, how are the research facilities at Brandeis? Okay, so let me just finish that question though. So my answer is about labs. So I place the REU students in a lab, but you as an applicant could name drop if you really, really wanted to work in a particular lab, but don't get your heart, fixated on one lab, because sometimes there's space issues or whatever, and I can't match everybody to the chosen lab that they want. Okay, but I do my best. And everyone's usually pretty happy. So the next question is, how are the research facilities at Brandeis? They're some of the best in the country, in the world. We have a microfluidic center. We have microscopy, microscopes that are, millions of dollars microscopes. We publish in the best journals. I feel like every week there's publications coming out of Nature, Science, Neuron, etc. that are, we contribute to the larger science conversation, where we are definitely in there. Our alumni go on to be very successful. We have REU alumni who are doing a lot of different types of things. And so, yeah, and our facilities are well funded too. So many times there's, not in every lab, but it varies by lab, but facilities will have their own technician who's hired just to take care of things. So you don't just, as an undergrad, go up to a fancy microscope and find that, oh, something's broken on it, I can't use it, it's down all summer. Because that's what happened to me when I was an undergrad. And it doesn't happen at Brandeis. Facilities are well cared for, well funded, and top of the line, typically. And our research is just cutting edge. So there's a reason why we continue to get prestigious grants and publish in the best papers. Great questions. You guys are, Brendan and Susan, my question askers. Do you have any other questions? I'm open. So I'm now past my 3:45 mark. But I do have a 4 o'clock meeting, so I need to make sure to be wrapped up. I would say I'm going to make a hard stop at 3:50. Maybe I'll email that to everybody. So if you have a question right now, please email me right away, or put it in the chat box, which might not be visible. Seems like it's not visible to some people. But if you do have a question, send it to me and I'll be sure to answer it. I can answer questions about anything. I can also answer questions about me, about who I am, what I do, whatever. I'm just open. Okay. So I prefer not to be quiet for the next 3 minutes. So please just send me an email. Put me out of my misery. Make it so that I'm not so uncomfortable. Or at least say bye or something, so I know you're done. I think someone just rescued me. Yeah, sure, Brennan. Yeah, there can be another session like this in the future. That's a great point. I'm happy to do this again. If you have some specific questions then I think that would be best. Because I feel like if I was to do this again without any feedback, I would probably say all the same things. And so it is possible that I can do this, like I'm willing to do it, but I would have to have a reason to, if that makes sense. Just because I feel like, but if you become in the cohort, then you're gonna see me like this like once a month in the spring, and I'll get to know you too. Okay. So I'm the Director of Education, Outreach, and Diversity for the Brandeis MRSEC. I have a PhD in cellular and molecular biology, and I have, and I coordinate activities for graduate students, postdocs, undergrads, faculty in science, outreach, and education. So some of the things that I have put on are a lot of workshops. We lead a microfluidics course in June. I taught genetics at Tufts. I've taught at MIT. I've taught a lot. So I come from a pretty varied background, and I got my PhD from Brandeis. So even though, so I started in this position just in February, I have a lot of knowledge about Brandeis. You're not allowed to do another submission, or is it a one-time application? You can definitely do multiple, like different years. You can apply another year, absolutely, yeah. Yes, you can apply for, like, if you've been here at Brandeis before, you can apply again. If you have not, then you can apply again. If you have, but if you mean multiple submissions for this coming summer, I want to see a single application. So Deidre Gibson, a professor at Hampton University, she can help you work on your application and so you submit it. Because I don't know, I can't see a reason why you would do multiple submissions. And I'm here. You can always, like Brendan, it seems like you have a lot of questions and you're curious, which is great. So if you want to set up a time, I'm like really happy to talk on the phone with you, or just do this like the Google Hangout, just me and you. That's fine. What types of documents will you need if you're accepted into this program? What types of documents? Employment documents. That's it. So you can get paid. Really, it's the same things that you need to get a job, because we're going to give you money. So we need to see, have a W-2. You need to have your standard like documents that show that you are actually the person who has your social security number. It's like kind of standard for any job in the country. So you need those things. That's it. You don't need documents. The documents for the application are letters of recommendation, transcript, and essays, and completion of the online form. That's it. Yeah. So you guys are good. Okay. I'm going to wait a single minute more, and then I'm going to turn off because I need to get ready for my 4 o'clock meeting. So type any questions you have. This is like the last call for questions. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing your applications. Brendan, Susan, you guys were great question askers, and others. Okay, well, great, Brendan. I'm so glad that you completed your application, and I look forward to reviewing it. And if you, it sounds like you might want to submit another. Now I'm understanding your question better if you've already submitted. If you want to take it back or something, I can appreciate that. And if you want to try again, you can do that. Yeah, please don't do that too often, because that makes it the paperwork hard for me. But yeah, I would hope that most of you do a single application. But thank you so much. I really look forward to meeting you guys and getting to know you. So please apply, and I hope to see you in the summer, and even sooner for the spring meetings. So apply November 15 for the Brandeis REU program, get chosen, meet once a month via this online type of platform, and then come to Brandeis for the summer for 10 weeks. So take care, and thank you. Bye-bye.